Whoop whoop, what's up, Bearcats? Happy Tuesday. Hope you're all having a great day, having a great week. We're here, we're hanging, we're chilling. It's HMG After Dark, pal. Make sure you sign your NDA before you come on in here. Hope you're all doing good. Yeah, tonight's feature will be Darkside of the Ring at Johnny K-9. Yeah, first, that one kind of came to me when I heard about what was his nuts. Al Snow talked about dealing with him in the past. So yeah, it seems like an interesting one. We'll check it out. We'll go ahead and hit play. We got Game in the house. What's up, pal? Yeet After Dark. Whoop whoop. How you doing, pal? Giggity giggity. All right, we're gonna go ahead and hit play. Watching this on Daily Motion.
You ain't true no crew. This is my crew. I'm true the crew. You're gonna go down the pump just like my back. Dude, pumps down. Wrestler Johnny K-9 was a complex.
Yo, what's up, Lab Rat? Good to see you, pal. Whoop whoop. Yo, what's up, Gruss? Good to see you.
He led a life of violence and mayhem that was shockingly real.
Possibly. Let me go check. I don't know.
To take full advantage of the wrestling, he wouldn't listen.
He could be laughing so hard that you think he's going to pass out, and the next thing you know, he might have somebody by the throat, and you're thinking, "Okay, I'm about to witness like a pretty heinous crime."
He fed an insatiable.
Yes, that was the same guy. Bruiser Bedlam was Johnny K-9.
Satan's choice biker gang.
He wanted to rise to the top as quickly as he can.
Johnny K-9 is out on bail in connection with charges he's facing thanks to the bombing of the Sudbury police station.
You're reading the newspaper article, it's like, that's Bruiser. That's like, yeah, apparently he blew up a police station in Sudbury, Ontario.
What? Double assassinations and blowing up police stations? Really?
It'll be a late start of SmackDown.
He's a bad person that deserves to be punished for anything.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Tyson fight is going to be a little bit more difficult, so we're going to go SmackDown.
Leaving a defeated and broken man in the ring.
Yeah, man. But we'll hear him, man. The first time I heard him was when Al Snow brought him up. Like, he brought up the bombing of the police station.
If you were a star in the WWF in the mid to late 80s, chances are you probably beat Johnny K-9 somewhere along the way.
Got Scott D'Amore, pal.
I remember seeing him as kind of a job guy on WWF TV probably in 85, 86, 87.
So Johnny K-9 was one of those, the term offends some people, it doesn't affect me because I used to do his job. Right? They're the guys that lose on television to the star. So,
Whoop whoop.
Television was the opportunity to get stars over. So the big name stars, the Randy Savages, had to beat somebody. WWF would hire local people or on TV tapings, and they be the guy that gets beat. The job. You're not under contract. K-9, something lacking. He's like caught in the twilight zone or something.
If you were a wrestling fan watching WWF, you knew who Johnny K-9 was. You knew he was going to drop to his knees and do that once.
Of something, but it got made.
He loved wrestling and was known for that, but locally he was also known as this tough kid who had grown up on the wrong side of the law.
He made money legally, and then he dipped his foot in crime. So there was this balance of, legal and illegal activity.
Johnny K-9, is there a reason for that?
It's a long story. I used to work in a bar. One time I got arrested for an assault police charge. And they threw me in the back of a paddy wagon. I was looking, I saw a dog car come up, and I seen K-9 and go, that's the name I'm going to use when I go on the ring.
jail and prison because when I met him, he had just been released. My name is Tracy Edwards, and I was married to Johnny K-9. I met him.
Oh, that's his widow. Damn.
in Hamilton. And I looked over, and he just looked at me, and I was like, whoa. And that was it. The moment I looked at him.
Give me Johnny K-9, pal.
After gigs dry up for Johnny at regional WWF TV tapings, he pursues stardom on the independent wrestling circuit.
I first met Johnny K-9. It was in Chatham, Ontario. It was a show for an older wrestler by the name of Ricky Bolton. For Impact Wrestling, and I was a longtime professional wrestler and friend of Johnny K-9. I saw it on the card that was posted outside in the hallway that I was wrestling. At that point, he was K-9 Dog of War, but I knew he was Johnny K-9, and I hadn't seen him since his WWF days. And then I walked into the locker room, and I'll call it the new improved Johnny K-9. Right? This isn't the 220-pound Johnny K-9. This guy is muscle on top of muscle. He's not that lean bodybuilder muscle. He's that big, thick, like I'm going to cave somebody's skull muscle. And he had the Fu Manchu. He had the tassel of hair, and he's got like the gym shorts, and he's got the flip flops. And he was just sitting back, and he's like, "Hey kid, yeah, it's me and you tonight. Yeah, me and you. It'll be good." And I mean, I just about shit my pants right there. And we had
I've been in that spot before.
Johnny in the ring to me was just unbelievable to watch. He'd get in the ring and start swinging his head around, doing this thing, and the eyes would be bulged out, and he'd be screaming at everybody. Really coming across like scary.
Johnny,
dude, he looks like he would have been a great on-camera heel.
He told the guy,
oh, dude, he's in there with Foley. Yeah, he's in there with Foley as Cactus Jack.
We're doing it again. You gotta get blood. Around him because of his childhood. He grew up in a very abusive home. At Christmas time, his dad would get so drunk and beat his mother and the kids. He would chase them around with a broom. He was 5 years old and he was so scared. And he would climb his little body under the steel bed frame and hold on with his little fingers and his feet. So when his dad went with the broom under the bed, he couldn't get his little body.
Damn, bro.
Johnny's traumatic upbringing would eventually fuel his tough guy persona in and out of the ring.
He never quite knew when that switch was going to go off. One time, me and him were at a show in Ohio. We wrestled each other, and when you're young, you're always scared to check your envelopes. Back then, you always got paid in cash. I didn't want to disrespect the promoter by checking the money in front of him, so you just go, "Oh, thank you so much." Well, I get in the truck, I look at my envelope, and Ken is, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Nah, nothing." He says, "Did he short you?" And I go, "Yeah." I no longer get the words out of my mouth, and he's gone. And for a 300-pound man, he's moving. And I'm chasing after him, so I don't know what he's going to do. By the time I catch up,
Damn.
getting in the locker room, he has the promoter by the throat, and he's holding him against the wall. The guy has got to be 18 inches off the ground. And it's gritted teeth. "You're gonna short this kid after he got in the ring and wrestled me. You want to get in the ring and you want to take shots from me, huh, punk? You get that kid his money." I'm sitting there going, "Oh my God, but we're gonna get arrested. We're in another country." He scared the hell out of that. When we let him go, he dropped to his knees, gasping for air. And this guy's just throwing money at him. We get in the truck, and K-9's got that big smile on his face, and he's feeling good about himself. And he goes, "Kid, I don't think that guy's going to short you on money again." And I'm like, no, but Johnny, I'm also pretty sure that guy's never going to book us again. And sure enough, he never did.
And a lot of people feared him.
I've heard stories like that before, where like
he was like this stand-up
wrestlers standing up to promoters shorting the other boys on the card.
He would order a pizza and answer the door naked. I'm like, what? Put on some underwear or something. No. Watch this. The door would open and 300 pounds, rock solid muscle, completely naked. Pizza guy would be like, yeah, that'll be $20, please, sir. And I would laugh so hard. He was so funny.
I think Johnny K-9 needed to be the center of attention in some ways. He loved all eyes on him. Whatever he had to do.
Dude, it really was like the Wild West.
Place in Taylor, Michigan, where he used to wrestle for MTW.
Yeah, tonight West Territorial Wrestling. Can we have one hell of a card here tonight?
We are
Commercial break, pal. We'll skip that shit though. Another one? Fuck you. Oh shit, we gotta sit through this one.
So this is a sequence of shows.
Oh come on, another ad? Are you shitting me?
It's not even Australia. Winnipeg, Canada. Sweet baby Jesus, you're here? How many senses are you missing? I thought I was listening to the DVD commentary. DVD. It's streaming exclusively on Disney Plus. They're streaming this trash? That's right. They'll stream anything.
Deadpool and Wolverine, now streaming on Disney Plus.
All right, go get to the movie now, pal.
That was going to play before the show. K-9
Yeah, for real. Fuck you, Don Stevens.
He might play the drums. So he gets on there. We do not believe he can play the drums at all. He starts actually playing the drums, and he's not half bad. He's just loving it. Everybody's eating it up.
All right, he can play. He can play drums.
And starts singing. And of all his skills, singing is not one of them. Wrestlers are falling off the chairs, laughing so hard. And the more we laugh and put it over, the more he's going to do it. And that's actually the territory, the company where we were wrestling the night that Jim Cornette discovered K-9.
I'm Jim Cornette. I've been a promoter, matchmaker.
Get me Jimmy C, pal. And get some Wendy's, too.
Smoky Mountain Wrestling was one of the last of the pro wrestling territories in the United States. It was started specifically to be an old-time territory for Southern. And to do that,
Time for a little bit of Smoky Toki, pal. Smoky Mountain, Smoky Toki. Whoop, whoop.
But we also needed to constantly find new names, new wrestlers, new ways to make matches. The team that I was managing, the Heavenly Bodies and I, were booked. I saw this big,
Whoop, whoop.
jacked up guy. He looked like a turn-of-the-century carnival strongman.
That's a great description of Johnny K-9, like a turn-of-the-century carnival strongman.
He had this giant tattoo across his stomach, true to the crew. I said, there's got to be
Smoky Mountain Toki, pal. Whoop,
After
whoop.
a fortuitous encounter backstage with Johnny K-9, promoter Jim Wrestling. What can you call this guy?
Well, Dick the Bruiser was one of the most famous major box office attractions in wrestling. When his promotion was in its dying days, had a television show called Bruiser Bedlam.
Jim rebranded a lot of guys. It's like the Thrill Seekers. Jericho and I wrestled with sudden impact, but to him, I think the Thrill Seekers would resonate better with his audience.
We're going to rock America.
I'm Lance Storm. Spent time in Smoky Mountain Wrestling in '94.
Let's start with Chris Jericho, the Thrill Seeker. Lose your shame, don't say, man. American wrestlers fight for these moves.
Get me Chris Jericho and Lance Storm Thrill Seekers, pal. If you guys, and speaking of funny piece of trivia, you guys remember, I'm sure you guys have heard or seen of that video of Jim Cornette going off on a Dairy Queen drive-through. Chris Jericho and Lance Storm were in that car.
And he would pull up
minimal of shirts, maybe like a string gym tank top.
Gigantic dude in the tank top, shorts, and flip flops. He's just like, oh my God, who is this guy? You know, is he going to be a crazed maniac or what? But 10 seconds of meeting, he's like, hey buddy, how you doing? It's like, hey, and then, you know, his demeanor was, you know, just big teddy bear.
To cement Bruiser Bedlam as his new monster heel, Cornette books him in a main event match against the promotion's top babyface, Bullet Bob Armstrong.
his first night in, we had a handicap match against Bullet Bob Armstrong, who was the all-time legend in wrestling of that area. And Bruiser beat him. People were beat Bob Armstrong. Nobody beat Bob Armstrong. That instantly gave him a little credibility in their eyes. We did videos with him where he could drive a 10-penny nail.
Dude, you can say what you want about Jim Cornette. No one knows like wrestling booking and psychology better than him.
It didn't break. I'm like, Bruiser, you know, we can gimmick that. No, I can do it. Second thing. Now the knot's coming up on his head. I got it. He's bleeding. So I took the bottle and baked it. Put it in some cold water, let it crack a little bit, hand it to him, says, now break it. You've got a guy bleeding on television screaming, I'm going to kill you. I believed him.
At the time, other than wrestling,
Yeah, he knows it's fast food too. That was actually a good promo. Like that's how you can. Like, that's a good way to get a monster heel over right there, pal.
Criminality was another option. My name is Bill Dunphy. I'm a now retired crime and justice journalist. Hamilton was an industrial powerhouse, and in the 70s and 80s, that has really declined. So the opportunities for someone of Johnny's age were very different than they were 10 years, 15 years earlier.
Johnny grew up borderline poor, barely making it. So the wrestling, you know, he made a bit of money, but not near as much as he wanted. So that's why he worked for a family. I'm not going to say the name.
The Gravel family, which was a big family in Hamilton. My name is Len Eisner. I was a detective staff sergeant.
Ooh. Oh, it's getting. Oh shit.
Among all the traditional organized crime families, people who had debts would give a percentage of the debt to somebody like Johnny K-9, and he would take a profit off, and he would collect the money. And it was a lot easier for Johnny to do it because basically of his appearance.
A few times he'd come home with blood on his shoes, wash his hands, and that was one of the ways he made his cash.
Oof.
Despite his success as a low-level enforcer, Johnny has even bigger dreams for his life of crime.
He told me his oldest brother was with the Red Devils, and he would always remember stories when he was a kid, and his brother and all his bros would pull up on their Harleys and pull into the driveway. And he always wanted to be with a bike gang. And that's what happened. He started hanging out with Satan's Choice.
Johnny
Get me DOA, pal.
to the world of outlaw biker gangs when he joins one of Canada's most notorious groups.
Turn the fan off.
Of him opening up a chapter in Hamilton, and he jumped right on it.
Johnny was right away elected as the president, and he ran the show there. Mark Carlos is my name. I knew Johnny from St. George Motorcycle. Nobody that I know ever came that fast. Even though I didn't like it personally, I understood. Because if you wanted to look at the big picture is money.
When people hear in that drug crime world, you got Johnny K-9 backing you make more money. People are scared, right? So,
Right. Why wouldn't you want a guy like Johnny K-9 as your heavy, like if you're like, you know, biker gang, mob, that sort of thing?
Starting bars, restaurants in your hometown. The cops are called. It was decided that was assigned to Hamilton and the Johnny K-9 investigation.
he was making a lot of money illegally at that point, but he loved wrestling. He'd go and wrestle for $200.
Johnny's two-sided lifestyle was never more evident than when he left behind his biker gang duties to wrestle down south for Smoky Mountain. It was there that he would find himself crashing at a famous flophouse.
Yeah, the famed, or I guess infamous more, the Smoky Mountain Flophouse. There'd be 4 or 5 of them living there at any one time. Chris Jericho was flopping there for a while. Some of the other guys were just starting out in wrestling.
And then suddenly, whenever Bruiser was in town, he just decided to live at my house.
Hey, what's hey, buddy? You want to live here?
We are Spectrum.
Here we go, the commercials again.
Spectrum not only impacts local community.
Doesn't have any volume, like Vert to Ferk. Same one again. What the fuck is going on here, pal?
Went to my share, buddy. So
We're back.
in his mind, his share was washing the dishes. I went to the cupboard to grab a plate. Pieces of food kind of crusted on. And I watched the next time Bruiser does the dishes, and Bruiser's idea of doing the dishes was just holding the dish underneath the water and then going like this and putting it back. The dish is clean. So the next time he went, hey, buddy, dude, it's fine. You know, you're the guest in the house. You know, you want to do your part, take the garbage out or whatever, you know. He was a good roommate as far as someone to hang out with. As far as contributing anything to the living situation, absolutely not. But as a person, he was always a lot of fun.
The first month or so in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, we basically put Bruiser in with all of the guys that understood what to do to get a monster over. We were having a big event at the Knoxville Civic Coliseum. Jake the Snake Roberts was in one main event. The other one was going to be Bruiser Bedlam versus Randy Macho Man Savage.
Bruiser Bedlam, to understand that these are glory days.
Dude, him and Savage?
When he said, this is your guy, right? He's going to be here. I'm just coming in one time. Let me put him over.
Randy Macho Man Savage, one of the biggest stars in wrestling, doing me a favor to come down and appear on my show. And now he wants to lose to my new top heel.
Randy Savage got it.
Other people got involved. But Bruiser Bedlam pinned Randy Savage 1, 2, 3.
That was in a lot of ways Johnny. Like, here I
Yeah,
am.
for real.
I'm not that job done anymore.
You're going to go down there, punk, just like Macho Man. Dude, touchdown.
That was his biggest match of his entire career. And I think he did a very good job with what he was given to work with.
For real, 2 out of this world guys, man.
By Thanksgiving.
But Savage is one of those dudes who got it. I mean, he
spot for him.
I mean, go back. Look what we did later on for DDP. Savage said, I want to put him over. I'm taking the cutter tonight.
There was call in 9 months of having Bruiser Bedlam in my locker rooms or at the Smoky Mountain Flop House. I would almost have to see videotape of him actually blowing something up before I could believe it.
After Smoky Mountain Wrestling, he was doing smaller shows. He just wasn't happy the shows were smaller. His heart was truly broken. All he wanted to do was make it, you know?
He was hoping that a bigger break in wrestling would completely remove him from that other life. Or again, that could be me trying to make him the person I want him to be. Probably would have made a great wrestling guy, like that Hulk Hogan fella and stuff like that, right?
Like that Hulk Hogan fella.
He loved the attention. But he went down the wrong path. This life isn't for somebody looking to make it big. As a biker, it's not good.
So we'll sit in front of the clubhouse, you know, monitoring who's coming, who's going, who's associating with who, so on and so forth. And Johnny will come out sometimes and he'll say, what are you guys up to? Wasting taxpayers' dollars.
You don't talk to me. But what is the reason? You know, other than thinking you're more intelligent, thinking that you're untouchable. But it's not good.
We get information from him without him really knowing, like his bike's in the shop, he has to go get his bike later. So, you know, little pieces of intelligence that always was handy.
Along with constant visual surveillance, Detective Staff Sergeant Len Eisner and his team utilized wiretaps to monitor the activities of Johnny and his gang.
We noticed early in our investigation that there was a relationship between the Hamilton, Satan's Choice, and the Sudbury. They seemed to hang out more. Johnny K-9 formed a relationship with a member of the Sudbury chapter by the name of Michael Dubé. Michael Dubé was probably the most dangerous biker that I've ever met. On one particular night, they decided, let's go to the Solid Gold. The Solid Gold was a adult entertainment place. All of a sudden, we put them in their saddlebags. And Johnny K-9 says, what are you guys doing? He says, well, I can't wear colors in Solid Gold. It says no colors. Johnny said, hell with that. We're going to wear our colors in here.
He went from, I'm just a wrestler, to he's Al Capone. And when you get the Al Capone syndrome, that means you can do whatever you want.
Well, in the Solid Gold.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting a lot of Al Capone vibes from this dude. Like, I'm glad that one guy pointed that out.
The Satan's Choice members dug their heels in and says, no, the Sudbury police are called, and there's a face-off basically between the Sudbury police and the Satan's Choice. The Satan's Choice back down. Johnny K-9 and Mike Dubé talk about how upset they were with what happened at the Solid Gold. So they decided that they would bomb the strip club. K-9 and another member of the Hamilton group offered to arrange the explosives and the bombs. Johnny doesn't know there's been a change in the plans, and Michael Dubé decides that this bomb is not going to go to the Solid Gold. He decides that this bomb is going to go to the Sudbury Police Station. So they went and they put the bomb in an alley beside police headquarters, and it blew a hole in a brick wall.
Damn, pal, bombing a police station?
Phone call is basically made to Johnny. Another member calls him and says, yeah,
the police station got bombed in Sudbury. You could tell in this conversation that Johnny's confused.
He didn't know he was manipulated, I think, until the downfall. Several months after the police station bombing, law enforcement prepares for an elaborate takedown of Satan's Choice.
This is getting into 1997, so we have a lot of members in Hamilton on narcotics charges, on extortion charges, collecting money, plus we also have the bomb. Now, when we go into the Hamilton clubhouse, they did everything they could to prevent us from coming in, and that was all Johnny's doing. He put barriers in front of doors so we can't ram doors and things like that. So we had to blow a hole in the wall to enter the building.
Damn, pal.
So they're coming in with flashbangs.
All right, 1 second. I gotta let my dog in. Be right back. 1 second. Hitting pause at the 28:15 mark. Be right back. Sorry about that, gang. We back. Let's get it. Whoop whoop.
So next thing you know, we're in bed. And I thought there was a hit. I thought gangsters were coming into the house to kill us. Then I realized, I looked, I could see all the boots. 50 SWAT team members came bursting into our home.
Damn, pal.
Yeah, it was over at that point. Yeah. Yeah.
That's insane, pal.
The Hamilton Wentworth Regional Police Emergency Response Unit moved in on the Satan's Choice Clubhouse on Lottridge Street. Club president Johnny K-9 is out on bail in connection with charges he's facing thanks to the bombing of the Sudbury police station in December of 1996.
It was just so perplexing having all of the personal stories of, hey buddy, how you doing? It's like, hey Bruiser, how you doing? Big hug. And then you get your stepdad going, is this your friend? And I'm like, my friend, the man that tried to blow up a police station in Ontario.
There was a great moment, and police arranged this moment, where they took the crane and they lifted the Satan's Choice logo off the side of the building.
I think it took a lot out of him.
Man, that's...
There's something he built out of his house. It was his life.
Head time, pal. Oh, same one. Can you at least give us a different ad? Like, come on, pal. Oh, come on. Another ad? Are you kidding me? At least this one's different.
Johnny made a spontaneous utterance when he was arrested, where he basically turned to me and he said, Lenny, that wasn't for the police station, that was for the solid gold. In this case, Johnny K-9 was interrogated by a biker squad officer who just knows how to lean on him enough to get him to point at someone.
With wiretap evidence and Johnny K-9's statement to authorities, Michael Dubé is implicated.
Yeah, I know, man. Like
station bombing. And Johnny
Like there's that one side of him that's like he's a cool dude you want to hang out with, but then like that other side, it's
You don't assist them in their investigation. So when he comes out of jail, they remove him from the club.
He was being accused of being a rat. I would see a friend of ours, hey, how's it going? And this one guy turned on me and said, your man's a rat. And I just up and cracked the guy. I mean, I stuck up for Johnny no matter what. I was so in love with him. I was blinded by his love. But I went from being proud and happy to be with him to being really nervous and scared for my life. The police would pull me over randomly. An undercover officer would just get out, come to my window, and I'd get really mad. What did you pull me over for? I'm not doing anything wrong. Listen, I just want to tell you your life's in danger. Telling me there's a hit on me and John. Yeah, it was really scary. It was really scary.
so basically that sounds like to me that sounds like the police letting her know, hey, we're kind of to me that sounds like they're letting her know that they're kind of keeping their eye on him.
Then I was like, this is my escape route. So I left with clothes on our backs, basically, and off to Vancouver I went.
While Johnny serves a prison sentence of 33 months for the bombing, Tracy flees with her children to the west coast of Canada in a desperate attempt to start a new life.
I divorced him. I had moved on with my life. Till he followed me out there. 2002, he got released. He told me that he missed me and everything, but honestly, I think that he was being run out of his own hometown, and he thought British Columbia was the best thing for him. He flew across, landed at the Vancouver airport. As soon as I saw him at the airport, I was so in love with him. I wanted to believe what he was telling me. I told him, I said, let's turn something bad into something really good. He was at one time wanting to open a wrestling school. And so he went to prison again.
After only a few months in British Columbia, Johnny's criminal past as an enforcer comes back to haunt him. He's arrested for a double murder committed in Ontario back in 1998.
The Gilbanks were murdered in 1998. A lawyer and her husband, Lynn and Fred Gilbank. It looked like a stolen car was used to drive the killer to their house at 5 in the morning. The killer went up the stairs with a shotgun. Fred Gilbank came out, was shot twice, and died in the hallway. The killer continued on to the bedroom. Lynn Gilbank was still in bed, and she was shot 4 times.
Jesus.
Searching for motives for this, they went through all of Lynn's cases, and Gravel drug case was one that had troubled her, and she had mentioned it to someone else that she was concerned about the safety of her client. So the police theory was that it was an attempt to intimidate the legal community and other criminals from ratting on the Gravel family. Johnny K-9 and Andre Gravel were charged with murder about 9 years later.
I had a voicemail message from Scott Moore. It was just like, did you hear about K-9? Oh no, I thought he died. I called Scott Moore back. He said, yeah, he's been charged with a double murder. I'm just like, what?
it's hard for me to picture the guy who was willing to stand beside me through thick and thin, no matter what, to see how he, could do something at that level. And maybe I'm naive, but that's just not the John I knew.
So he spent 20 months in jail and got released.
The police didn't have a strong case. It was withdrawn. Andre Gravel and Johnny K-9 are innocent of that crime.
In 2006, murder charges were withdrawn against Johnny and Andre Gravel when prosecutors determined there was no real prospect of conviction. Gravel subsequently sues authorities in Ontario, alleging malicious prosecution, and obtains an undisclosed amount in the settlement.
Johnny never killed the Gilbanks. That was a load of crap. Okay. So he came back to BC in 2007. That's when I remarried him. And Johnny was saying, what am I going to do for money? I said, movie industry.
Is he a good actor?
Not a great actor. He tried his best and he had a lot of fun doing it, but then he was in a gym in North Vancouver and saw Hell's Angel. Then he started talking to the United Nations and he comes home bragging. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute. We're going backwards here. You're supposed to be changing your life. What are you doing?
Out in the West Coast, he got involved with the UN gang, a multi-ethnic organized crime gang.
He tried to hide it from me, but it didn't last long. I mean, we'd have 100 pounds of weed in my kitchen while my kids are in daycare. And he'd go, wait a minute, I'm going to spray it with whiskey and Coca-Cola. It'll weigh more and we'll make more money. I'm like, you're crazy. So we'd be there spraying weed.
Wow, dude.
And I'd be bagging and weighing. He was coming home with 20, 30 grand, just stacking bank. And I'm like, John, you're doing the same thing you were doing in Hamilton.
Police say these are the faces of the UN gang, and investigators want them all in jail.
In 2008, a botched hit on behalf of the United Nations gang would result in the death of an innocent young man.
In the vendettas that were going on between these two BC gangs, John was picked up by the police in connection with murders there.
Then he was charged in 2009 for.
That does like a good time, pal.
Pregnant when he was arrested. And that day that he went into custody, I didn't know at the time, but that was the last day he would ever be free.
Johnny K-9 pleads guilty to conspiracy to commit murder. However, the first-degree murder charge is stayed. After serving 4 years of his prison sentence, Johnny is released to a halfway house in Toronto.
And he was supposed to come back to Vancouver in 6 weeks. But instead, the police came to my door and they said, do you know Ion Cortoro? And I said, yeah. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, shit. I said, what's going on? And he said to me, Ion passed away this morning. I went completely numb and shocked. It was so hard, so hard.
On February 21st, 2017, Ion William Cortoro, aka Johnny K-9, dies at the age of 53. The cause of his death is the subject of speculation.
He died of a heart attack, and probably because of his lifestyle.
I know he was in trouble on the West Coast. So either it was a hot shot because he wanted him gone. Somebody gave him some good stuff, and he went for the big ride. Or he just couldn't do it.
The reason he died is because he got maced by the guards in prison. They had to scrape his lungs. So, there's a lot more to that, but
Somebody send me the headline.
Oh, come on. We're getting another ad now. Are you serious? Yeah, man. Who really knows what happened with that? That sounds crazy. That's almost right. I think it's the last ad, but it's the one with no volume. Yeah, I'm with you, Gam. Like she's really the only victim in all this, or I shouldn't say the only victim. She's really the only baby face in all of this.
It looked like the headline of a Chicago newspaper or something like Capone in the outfit. And I started laughing, and I just thought, if Johnny K-9 could write his own headline for his death, that's
Well, he had that charisma that forms folk heroes. Al Capone was a very dangerous person in the fact that he killed people and was involved in crime his whole life. He made a living in crime, and the fact that they made him a folk hero. And these types of descriptions sort of fit Johnny K-9. I mean, we're still talking about him. I mean, yeah.
Johnny's death certainly doesn't bring closure. Horrible double murder is still wide open. We have lost one of our opportunities to find out what really happened when two good people were murdered. This was a guy that hurt a lot of people in his life.
If you owed him money, yeah, he'd smack you, but he never killed anybody. He was hanging out with the wrong people, trying to make money, not realizing how deep he was in with guys that were killing people.
What his wife said sounds like a lot more plausible situation.
Johnny K-9 is a very dangerous person, and I believe that I don't doubt for a minute that he's involved in homicide.
If you ask the wrestlers he shared a locker room with, couldn't be a nicer guy. If you ask the families of the people that he's alleged to have been responsible for killing, you'd probably get a different answer.
They can't canonize him as a saint and just mourn his loss. There's this other side, and having those emotions inside of who he really was, who I wanted him to be, who, in my experience, he was, and then hoping that he could get at least closer to the side of the guy that I knew and wanted to live out his days with his wife would have been, that happy ending that you want for guys, and when it hits you pretty hard.
Man,
If I could go back,
the stuff with Lance, that's that shit. Yeah, you could tell he definitely legit cared about the guy.
Go back and be a dad. Go back and be a husband. Go back to wrestling. You follow this like 3 years, maybe somewhere else. His life is probably also a life of thwarted ambition. He tried to move from enforcer to leader and failed miserably. As a wrestler, he tried to make it into the bigs, and he got the edge of that, but didn't stay. He didn't have what it takes to last there.
There'll probably be a million fans that have no idea who he is. And there's probably someone that was in the Knoxville Coliseum that saw him beat Randy Savage that thought he was the scariest person they ever saw, and to this day has nightmares about it. Wrestling is subjective. It is to you what it is.
In my opinion, he was the baddest mother in the ring, and he had a good time.
Yo, what's up, Revamp? Good to see you, pal. Whoop, whoop. Although you just caught us at the end of the show, man. So, yeah, that was Johnny K-9, the man, the myth, the legend. So, yeah, let's see. Tomorrow night, the AEW Dynamite Watch Along, followed up by my Twitch stream at LG Brandon Whoop, twitch.tv/LG Brandon Whoop Whoop. Thursday night, HMG After Dark once again. Friday night, late start for SmackDown Live Watch Along. Saturday night, HMG After Dark once again. Actually, no, we might do something a little different. I'm not sure. And then Sunday night, that's kind of up in the air. It kind of depends on what we do Saturday. And, of course, next Monday, Impact Attack. Oh, dude, get well soon, pal. Get well soon. That shit sucks. That ain't nothing to play with, man. You take care of yourself. All right, have a great rest of your night, guys. We'll catch you tomorrow. Much love. Whoop, whoop.